Previously on From.
If these voices are real, if something here is communicating with you, then that means you're connected to this place in a way that no one else here is. But we need proof. What is this?
They said they watched you bury the bag, and that this is proof that they're real. Do you know what that means?
Can I have my pillow back? I just want to take a nap, and it's sort of like a security blanket for me, you know?
Yeah, I totally get it. I'm sorry again. You know, it's kind of funny. I have a shirt just like that.
Oh, I know. I got this out of your suitcase.
What's wrong?
I think maybe I made a mistake.
I knew all about the divorce and how this whole trip was just one last hurrah before you sat us down to break the news. Thomas is dead. You have 2 other kids. They'll be enough for you.
What is that?
A faraway tree. Watch.
How does it do that?
I don't know. But guess what?
What?
It works for people too.
Really?
Problem is, you never know where you'll end up.
There's no wire in here.
What?
In the cord. And the plug? Well, none of it makes any sense.
Mom!
Everything about this is impossible, but we can find out where those wires go.
There was this weird fucking symbol right on the ceiling.
What are you looking for? Hmm?
I have this crazy idea that might actually work, and if it does, I might be able to find a way to get these people home.
They're so beautiful.
I'm so glad you like them.
When can I come inside?
All right. Welcome back to an all-new episode of Talking From, the hit, truly the hit of epics. You know, wow. First of all, this episode is episode 7 of From, and it's called All Good Things. All good things must come to an end. Oh boy. There is so much to unpack in here. And, you know, there's so much to unpack, and yet I feel like the action in this episode was about as straightforward as you could possibly get in terms of just what basically happened. So before we get into it, let's introduce my co-host, Kinte. Kinte, how are you?
I am excellent. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. I need to de-stress this moment a little bit. Lots happened in this episode. Some really, really, really difficult things happened in this episode. And I feel like this episode actually moved the story forward by a huge leap. And I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yes, I think this is the best episode of the year so far. And I think that this episode really kind of taken this whole story to the next level. So I'm just, you know, I felt like up till this point, the show's been pretty good. But I think this episode was great. And I feel like I'm really excited for what's coming. You know?
Well, you know, I think we've had some really solid story up to now. Very solid. Good storytelling, excellent visuals, lots to ruminate on. I even thought of something last night that I'll share with you guys in a couple minutes. And at the same time, it has felt slow. Not slow in a bad way, but the layers are tough to peel off. And I gotta say, after this episode, I actually don't feel like we're any closer to understanding what's happening, but we definitely have a lot more to kind of go on. And I'm going to go back to something that I said before, which is when something is revealed that feels important, something bigger comes behind it, or something very brash takes the place of whatever that idea was. almost as if there is some kind of, I don't know. Again, I feel like this is purposeful on the writer's behalf. Like, no, yes, maybe that's something, but don't look over there. Look over here. Um, I'm gonna throw out a theory for you. You ready?
Okay.
All right. What if Kill the Boy had nothing to do with Ethan, and whatever the monsters are, or whatever the thing is that's talking to Sarah? What if they're saying "Kill the boy in white"?
Ah. You know what? I didn't even think of that.
Now, it's strange, of course, because it kind of makes it weird if Sarah isn't seeing the boy in white,
Right.
but it but Ethan does. And what if Sarah is just getting all of this wrong? What if Sarah is supposed to convince Ethan that, okay, let's figure out how to kill the boy? I don't know. That to me felt like um, a possible uh, idea because of what Father Khatri says in the beginning. So they're going through their nighttime procedures, right? I mean, this is the beginning of the episode. Everybody's going through their nighttime procedures, and lots of stuff is happening. The Matthews have this awesome connection moment. They talk about being afraid to leave Ethan on his own and things like that. And then they go down to the cellar where uh Tabitha is still digging in the cellar to see if they can figure out where the wires are coming from. Man, I feel like that's going to be a very sad dead end. um and the, she and Jim have this, super awesome kind of like, oh yeah, we've been estranged for so long, and here we are back connected. Nothing like a little trauma and death to, rekindle your love affair. But
Right.
anyway, they so they have this moment, and it feels like for the most part the Matthews are maybe not settling down, but at least sort of like they've got direction, they've got function, they've got a plan going forward. Jim talks about let's build the radio tower, and let's see if we can get basically everyone to invest in on this. And I'm sure he's got a good idea. I think he's got a good idea.
Uh-huh.
uh and and so we leave them and things seem quasi okay, nothing too huge happening there. And then we cut to Boyd and Father Khatri. And I hesitate with this one because uh, you know I'm sure that these people in this situation, and I totally understand where this comes from, but I have to ask you, because I feel like I kind of obviously overthink these things a little bit. Did anything in the conversation between Boyd and Father Khatri strike you as odd?
No.
Did you feel like, okay, let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Let's go back a little bit. Father Khatri has been here a while, and he has never told anybody the story. And he felt compelled to bury that past, the secret of killing the little boy's father. And he never told anyone. I find it odd that Boyd is his confessor, or confession, or I don't know how to describe it. And the reason that I find it odd is because I get it. I know that Father Khatri is trying to convince Boyd, hey, this is what I saw, and this is why I think this is real. But there's something to that emotional display beforehand which makes me feel like, okay, here's my redemption. Now I want to go do whatever I need to go do with it because it's already out. And I felt like Boyd's reaction to him was, I don't know, weird. It was just weird. Boyd draws a gun on Father Khatri when Father Khatri says, "I have Sarah tied up in the basement." Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's not a super creepy, weird thing to say, but of all the weird stuff that's going on, I is that that's the cause that he draws a gun? Really?
Yeah, I mean, remember what he said is same thing I said is when the other guy, the one that they put in the box. Remember he
Frank.
gave Frank. He had him. He said you felt like he needed to be executed, but with her, you're going to give her absolution. He was upset.
I get that. It's just I don't know. There's something about specifically I feel like there's something about Boyd's reactions that are kind of over the top. And I feel like maybe there's a purpose behind that. There's a reason that he's so I don't know, emotionally just on edge all the time. But I also I also feel like Father Khatri completely misread that whole situation, including what he had told Boyd earlier about Frank. He just misread it. Like he didn't think about what he was saying before he said it to Boyd. And it came off as kind of like, well, this isn't really. I'm not asking you for absolution. I want to tell you that there's a way out of here, and it smacked exactly of Sarah's uh, ask of Christy, is it okay if there is harm to one for the benefit of all? That's what it felt like to me. It felt like Father Khatri was completely using kind of the Sarah logic of things. It's okay to keep Sarah alive and safe because, well, she could be the key to everything. But she just tried to kill Ethan. And is that okay? And it just like that felt like it was just such a I don't know, that whole conversation just for some reason it sticks with me like there feels like there's something wrong with not that there's anything wrong with the way that they both reacted, just that the whole thing felt like wow, neither one of them is actually getting the point of what needs to be said here. And then in the end, when Father Khatri says, "Okay, well, we're going with you, me and Sarah," I, I, I don't know. Is that? Tell me, is that what you would have done?
Would I have decided to go along with him?
If you were Boyd, would you have decided, yeah, it's sure, it's okay to take this, you know, attempted murdering person with us? Who knows what the voices are going to tell them to do next? And I mean, I get it. Boyd says, well, if she even flinches, even one, whatever. And Father Khatri says, yep, okay, that's fine, totally fine. But I can't understand how someone who of Boyd's stature, who's been trying to keep people safe for so long, could possibly risk what he thinks is an actual escape plan on this crazy person who, oh, I mean, crazy person, like, obviously there's something else going on here. And Father Khatri, who who didn't even tell the truth from the beginning of being in this town. Like of all the untrustworthy people, we're basically down to, okay, well, here's the two most untrustworthy people. Yeah, let's just go ahead and let them help with this plan to get everybody home. I don't know, it just felt so weird. Maybe it was just me.
No, I mean, I guess I hear what you're saying, but you know, I think the idea behind all of this is that this is him coming to terms with what happened in his past as well. And by, you know, obviously by what happened at the end of the episode, it makes perfect sense why he had to, they got that mystery, uh, you know, revealed,
Right.
So
That's true. That's very true. Okay. All right. So that constituted the Matthews and Boyd and Father Khatri constituted most of kind of the first part of the episode and a little bit into it. But what really was the meat of the episode happens at Colony House. And at Colony House there is a party. and the party is to celebrate Fatima's 1 year anniversary of being at the house. And I had to rewind this a couple times to listen to what Donna says, because Donna says, some of you were here before Fatima came, and many of you have arrived since. So it feels to me like Colony House is definitely a uh, hmm, lots of movement going on. These people don't survive long, and I felt like we were further reminded of that when Trudy says, no, I don't think I'm even going to make it to 1 year. Like, wow, these people really live under a kind of duress that is basically like, okay, well, nobody really makes it to be past a year, so there we go. This is what's happening. No, nobody, no one in town or at Colony House seems to know any of the people except for the very first instance when we saw Frank's little girl say, to the person in the window, or the person in the window say something about being grandmother. And I had that one moment where on the porch I felt like Julie recognized somebody that was in that group.
Right.
I don't really know how, but she definitely, it seemed like it. But other than that, it's not like these people actually recognize any of the other people, and I keep wondering about that back and forth. And the reason I bring that up is because, what did you think? Okay, at the end of the last episode, when that girl was at the window and she was saying, "When can I come in?" What did you think that was all about?
Oh, this is obviously somebody from his past. That this is clearly somebody from his past, someone that he knows, someone that he's in love with. I'm assuming that, but you know what? That's what I'm assuming. But they don't really make it 100% clear.
No, they don't. It almost felt like maybe it was, this kind of
Dream girl.
supernatural thing where, he saw her at the window and they started talking and he kind of fell in love with her. God forbid. God. Oh, wow. I mean, I love supernatural romance, but wow.
Right.
This is a bridge so far.
Yeah, this is not Ghost.
And that felt amazingly that I don't know what to call it, love affair, romance, whatever. That felt really, really, really weird to me. Weird in probably a really good way, because of course all these people are lonely. They're all looking for something. They're all cut off from each other, from life, whatever. But he's in Colony House where everybody is sharing everything. And I gotta say, I felt like he was being so selfish by opening the window. So he does. He opens the window, and uh, when he opens the window, uh, hmm, well, she comes in, and she says to him, "If I come in, you can just close the window, and nobody else will come in."
Yeah.
And and I think that's actually true. I think it was actually true. But then she opens the window after she kills the poor guy. Um, So now there's a bunch of monsters in Colony House. And in
Taking
between
their
this,
sweet time.
uh, yeah. And that, that actually reminds me of something that Kenny said, which was they never run. They always walk. They just kind of know, okay, you only have so many places to go. We'll get you eventually. They're such patient monsters. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um, what did you? God, okay. I almost hate to even bring this up because basically, Kinte, everything that you said in the past couple of podcasts about some certain things have all basically come to pass. So I give you a lot of credit for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
except, well, not except. Uh, Upside down is the Julie Ellis Fatima thing. Julie asks Fatima, "Is it okay if I kiss you?"
Mm-hmm.
And Fatima clearly is like, "Okay, no, wait, that's not what this was all about." And I don't know, I kind of got the sense that, like, That wasn't what she was thinking. That wasn't her plan. And Julie gets upset and she runs to Victor's room. Of
Of
all
all people.
people,
Oh well, we
she
said it. So
runs to Victor's room.
we
Yeah, you
said
had
it.
that same thought?
Yeah, of all people, right?
Why? What do you think? Why did she actually go there?
I mean, I go with what she said. She said this is the only place she can get away from everybody.
Mm.
You know, because he's kind of off. He has his own little kingdom. You know, so
Now, interestingly, Victor's packing apparently to do something.
hmm
What do you think he's doing? Do you think
I think
what's happening?
it's gonna end up where Boyd and Sarah is gonna go off into the woods, and Victor's gonna end up there as well as Julie.
Really?
Yeah, I think that they're all gonna end up going on the same quest.
Do you think that do you think Ethan has a part in this, or do you think that's just kind of like red herring ish?
I don't know. Uh, maybe he might get compelled by the boy because we find out that the boy that we only saw in the daytime in white, he's appears at night as well.
That's right.
So maybe he's the one that lures him to join the quest as well.
I kind of yeah, I kind of wonder. I don't know, but I mean, Victor clearly saw the boy in white, and Julie didn't,
hmm
which is also pretty interesting. Because even though he was right there, Julie didn't see him. So that was kind of yeah, that was very interesting. Um, okay, so let's talk about what sort of happens in Colony House. What did you think about the whole from? And I mean, it was long. It was gruelingly long. The monsters get into Colony House, and then they basically like sweep through the place. People are screaming. Oh my god, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they really gave them an opportunity to make it to safety. I mean, they were moving so slow, and they didn't really. I thought in my mind, I figured if they got in there, it was going to be a little more devastation than
Mm,
they actually. If you think about it, I mean, it's sad when you lose anybody, but they didn't have as many casualties as you would think they would. And a part of it is they were prepared too, and they went through
right.
their preparation.
Right. Right. They had a drill that stick to the plan. Donna drove a van load of survivors to the police station, to Boyd's police station. Um, and I'm not going to get quite there yet because then there's sadness. But um, I felt like that was such a good uh kind of overall metaphor of how the monsters destroy the town. It's just slow. It's just like a constant erosion. Um and that wow, that just feels so that almost feels more ominous than if they were just like, attacking Resident Evil style.
Right. Right.
Cuz
Yeah.
they are just taking their time. Um Let me ask you this. There's a scene when Julie is looking out of the window where Victor's place, where she climbs down on the rope before Victor does. And as she's looking out, she can see all of these people coming out of the forest.
hmm
And there's there's people that look like they were dressed sort of in the 1950s. There's a boat captain. There's somebody that looks like a chef. There was a whole bunch of people. And I'm wondering, do you think? I mean, clearly those costume designs were not by accident. They didn't just like say, okay, everybody, rando, just come to the set with whatever you think you're going to be wearing that day. What do you think the significance of that is?
I think that some of these souls have been here from. I'm assuming they're souls. I guess I'm not quite sure. They're um, that they are. They've been around for a long time, and then I think some of these people are possibly people from their own memories or whatever. So maybe
Mm.
it takes much more, um, maybe it can be from a lot of different eras or whatnot. One thing we got to give Victor credit is Victor, his actions, he moved quickly. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
He had his own plan, and he definitely knew what he was doing, and he was and then he had him put this thing around her, like a what was that?
Those were all his drawings.
Oh, okay, that's what that was.
That's the history of the town, basically.
Okay, I thought maybe that was some sort of protection. Okay. Oh, I didn't even.
No,
Okay.
those were all of his drawings. He had put them all together on the desk, and then he tied them up, and then he decided to put them over Julie's head because he wanted somebody to protect them.
Okay.
And then he Victor takes Julie out after the boy in white comes by. He ushers Julie into the forest and um, tells her to go into the tree. Now, we had just seen, I don't know if it was that tree, but we had just seen in a previous episode that he threw a rock, Victor threw a rock into the tree and it ended up coming out not that far from where he was. But this time, Victor puts Julie into the tree, and I don't know where Victor went, but he puts Julie into the tree and she ends up in the tunnel. Not the tunnel, I'm sorry, like the storm shelter.
Right.
That was so crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of creepy too.
I can't imagine what she was thinking. What was she thinking?
And she hadn't been down there before, right?
No. And oh my god, how bizarre. You go into a tree. Oh my god, I just can't even imagine. It's got to be so crazy. Um okay. So, theory time, because I love these. Um what if the trees are actually transporting people from other places into this town, like it's a conduit for the monsters as well? Like the people, when they go places, they can move from place to place inside of the trees, the far away. But what if somehow that has something to do with the monsters being there too?
Remember, you see a down tree before you make it there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe that does have something to do with it.
And the other thing that makes me think that, just sort of, I don't know, casually, I don't think that it was an accident that Jade saw that uh, the thing, and maybe it wasn't even a thing. I don't know. Maybe it was, but whatever he saw in that same storm uh, shelter when he was there with the boulder on top of it, maybe it has something to do with that. Because that didn't happen to Julie. So clearly it was only happening to that person. And she didn't come out in. Nothing happened to her when she went through that, right? Not that we know. She's still in the same timeline. Everything is still exactly the same. She's just now what? In a different place with. I don't know. I have so many questions about that. Give me your theory. What do you think?
Um, I mean, I honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I just think that she got transported to somewhere safe, but he had no idea where she was going to end up at. So he's going on faith himself,
right?
Because I mean, it could have put her right back to where in danger.
Right, and also he didn't follow her, or if he did, he ended up someplace else
Right.
because he said something. I can't remember what he said, but he definitely didn't know that he was going to be even be anywhere close to her. But my my brain goes to, he didn't try to take the drawings back. He must have known that she was going to end up someplace safe.
Yeah.
Which that was kind of interesting too, now that I think about it. Um All right. So all of these things, all of these relationships, all of these. Oh wait, we got to talk about Fatima and Ellis end up in Colony House, and they're stuck. There's monsters on both sides, and Fatima basically tries out Boyd's theory about being in the RV and having the talisman, and she closes one set of doors, holds the talisman, puts her hand on it, and then closes the other set of doors, or closes the other set of doors like that. Yeah, puts her hand on it. And it works. It keeps them out.
I was
I
so
don't
glad.
know. I don't know what is going on there, but wow,
I
that was
was
also. Didn't that also answer a question that we had from earlier?
Yeah, you can basically give yourself safety. So if the Asian guy, um oh my god, the father
Kenny,
of Kenny's father,
Kenny's dad. Yeah.
dad, yeah, and also the nurse, if they
Right.
had did that, they would have been safe.
Right. And I feel like the interesting thing about that in particular is that whatever this is, it does act as a seal, like it wards a closed space. It's not just a ward to keep somebody away because the talisman keeps it away. It actually creates a ward, which is really fascinating. I totally love that. But I felt so
Man,
bad.
I would sleep in my bedroom with one just in case somebody gets stupid in the rest of the house. I would
Mm.
have one hanging in my bedroom just to, so I'll be safe. you know.
And do we know? I don't think I feel like we haven't heard anybody say or Boyd say or anything. How are they making these things?
Yeah, and how would he even know to take the talisman? Like the idea that it's very interesting. I want to know what it was like before the talismans when how
Right, right.
they alive.
Yeah. I feel like there's a huge story there about what was happening before they discovered that the talisman could work. But I also feel like whatever it is that created the discovery of the talisman is such a I mean that's got to be such a it's got to be great. Whatever it is, it's got to be great. Um Okay, so Boyd clearly is now not going to go hop on a boat. Um, I mean, not at the moment. I'm sure his plan is still in there. Um, but he knows that Sarah is tied up in Father Khatri's basement, so he's going to have to go and deal with her. And then how he reconciles having Sarah around and doesn't tell Jim or Tabitha is going to be kind of interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I guess we'll see. At the end of this episode, as Colony House is emptying into the van and then from the van into the sheriff's station, Father Khatri, of course, does his level best to try to help everyone. And as he does that, one of the monsters gets him, basically slashes him right across the throat.
Oh my god, I was so mad.
I was too.
He was one of my
I
favorite characters.
I definitely was too. I felt like that was I don't know, like not a waste, but like how dare you make me, feel like oh hope springs anew, only to, cut it off. Because now I'm like, well, now what's gonna happen? How is this even gonna? It just feels so bleak without him, so bleak, and the way he dies is just sad in every single way. Every single death in this show is so impactful. Nobody dies, like even if they die and it's violent, it doesn't we really feel every single death. Even Trudy, the girl in Colony House with her favorite pillow, who she was going to go give the favorite pillow to Fatima because Fatima gave her favorite sweater. And it was so sweet. It was such a tender moment, and Trudy gets stuck in a room and you know yeah, next thing you know, she's Trudy is no more. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. All right, give me some ideas. These people are not turning the people in the town. They're not They're not creating new monsters. Not
Mm-hmm.
that I can see. Are they?
I don't think so. It seems like no, it doesn't seem like.
So if it so we still really don't know why they are killing people, or what the purpose of that is, and why it is so messy. Why it's so, I mean, it's just so, it's not just killing people. I mean, it's like there's carnage
Butchering
involved.
them.
There's devouring. Yeah. Um so I guess those are sort of unanswered questions. Um Tell me what you thought about just sort of the overall tone of this episode in comparison to others, because I gotta say I feel like they really made this episode a lot darker. I don't mean that like the party wasn't awesome. I mean like the overall tone was a lot darker. Ellis was getting drunk. Why was Ellis getting drunk?
About his mother.
Right, but I guess what I'm
And
thinking
they
is
and
like,
they hinted at something that he did. The guy that got punched out.
oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that that was something I meant to talk about. Something happened, but Ellis had been drinking beforehand. And so it makes me think that like maybe Fatima's arrival and Ellis's mom, there was something that connects them. Some event connects the two of those things. And that's why he was off drinking before the party even really started. Um, but we don't get any indication of that from Boyd, which maybe I felt like maybe we would have. I don't know. Um, but Ellis Ellis is clearly hiding some big pain, and Boyd is clearly hiding the way that he's experiencing his pain. And I don't quite understand what the estrangement is between them, other than obviously it's over that his mom, Ellis's mom.
Mhm.
But this episode made everything feel dark to me, and I was wondering how it made. What did you feel about it?
Oh yeah, I mean it was dark, but I mean it could have been darker, I guess, because if there was more carnage.
True.
But and they do a good job of. They don't really show you the carnage, really. Like they don't really show you the you know uh like when Trudy died. You know
Hmm.
they spared you seeing her just getting ripped apart. You know.
Right. It's very creative actually the way that they
Hmm.
do it. I mean, there's lots of blood spatter and there's lots of that kind of stuff, but we definitely um again, this kind of goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning, which is they do a really good job of um making the show scary with the things that you don't see as opposed to the things that you can see. We got a big piece of that in the RV, where all that we knew that was happening was there was something dangerous outside, and it did feel dangerous. And in here, we keep getting closer and closer to what's the real danger. What are these? I feel like we're getting closer to understanding what is really happening, but it still feels like, oh my god, we're missing so many pieces, and I can't figure out at all what those pieces are. I actually kind of feel like the show has me so stumped. That's not normal for me. Usually, I'm able to figure stuff out. Where are you with everything? I mean, I know you don't think into it like with crazy theories like I do, but where are you in how you think things are going along?
I mean, I like I said, I think this is the best episode, and because so much happened in it, and I think it moved the story, you know, further than any other episode, and that's what you want when you get to this end of the season. You know, you want these late episodes to give you that feeling. So hopefully it keeps it going, you know, at this pace, and we continue to get really good episodes.
I have a feeling that that is what's going to happen, because Victor says something before they go out the window. He says, or before he puts her in the tree, he says, "Tell your brother it started. He'll know what I mean."
Right.
And I was trying to think back to any conversation that Victor had with Ethan, and I don't know. I don't know what it is, but what I can say is Sarah is carrying the history of the town around her neck right now. And
Mm-hmm.
if anyone could possibly figure things out by putting clues together, it would be Jim,
Right,
based
right.
on what we already know about him. So maybe that's, maybe that's where that needs to go. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm excited about what is going to happen next, but I also am like so frustrated by the fact that I can't come up with any other good theories other than Sarah's arm wasn't about the boy; it was about the boy in white. It does feel kind of weird. So far, the boy in white is the only one in town that isn't chasing after them. Um, and it does feel like Victor clearly trusts what he is seeing. Like, okay, the boy in white was there, so he followed him. Um, but at the same time, are the things that are in town what is Victor's understanding of what is happening, and why is his ability to see that the boy in white so important, because nobody else can see him except Ethan. I don't know, something feels I hate to say this because I don't want to in a way that is like uh like this is the least of what I would want to happen. But I sort of feel like what they're setting up is everybody in town dies and Ethan is left in the same way that Victor was left.
Mm. Mm. Hmm. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I hope that that isn't what is happening. I hope that what they discover is a way to circumvent it. But I feel like that is the event. That's the event that is trying to happen right now. The event that's trying to happen is
Oh,
everybody dies and there's just one kid. And so if they say kill the boy, they know that they can't somehow kill him, but they can kill everybody else.
oh, that makes sense. So everything is repeating itself. So what
Right,
they're
right.
so basically the season will probably end with them averting that.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Based on the things that they're doing, based on possibly the signal tower, based on maybe something that Tabitha discovers, based on something that they discover because of the drawings. I don't know exactly what is what is going to kind of be, okay, well, this is what's going to change everything. But my guess is that that's the trajectory that the town is on, because it's the two cars. It's the somebody sees the boy in white. It's the things are starting to change in a way that they hadn't changed before. There's no more peaches. Why are there no more peaches?
Right.
Clearly there's been peaches for like what, 40 years? I mean, 50
She wasn't
years?
going. She wasn't going to Walmart and getting them.
Exactly. So, if things are changing in that way, it means something. My gut feeling is the town is trying to reset. I don't know exactly how to, like, put that into better format, but that's the feeling that I get. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But this was a really good episode. I really liked it a lot.
Excellent. Yeah.
What do you have any? Is there anything else that you want to talk about inside of this episode?
No, no. I think we can end it here, and then you know we'll talk about. I mean, in the next coming episode, I think we'll have more to chew on.
The further that we get into everything, the more some of the things that have happened in the past become more relevant. And I noticed that they do a pretty good job of their intros being, hey guys, pay attention, pay attention. So when you see something in the intro, from last time on From, they do the thing that a lot of series do, like, hey, in this episode we're going to focus on this, so hey, pay attention to what this guy said 5 episodes ago.
Right.
Which is kind of, I mean, sometimes some series don't do that well. They hint at some stuff, but this series, everything that they call attention to is basically super important. Oh wait, I know, I'm sorry, one more thing. What do you think now is not just what's going to happen to Sara, but what do you think Sarah's role in all of this can possibly be because Father Khatri is dead? Do you think that Father Khatri telling Boyd will protect her, or do you think that Sara is going to have to figure out a way out of this on her own?
No, I think all they did was set up the fact that Boyd and her are going to have to work with each other, and he doesn't trust her. She doesn't have an ally. So I mean, that's basically by taking him, Father Khatri, out the picture. It just makes it the dynamic between them two much more interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
well. Okay. So my personal feeling about this is, first of all, we can't trust Sara because if no matter what the voices are saying, kill the boy or kill the boy in white, no matter what they're saying, that's clearly not really beneficial. And it doesn't seem to me like that's what's going to save everyone. But then I start thinking about this. Maybe killing the boy in white is actually the way to reset the town. Like maybe that is actually the way, or not the reset the town. Maybe that's the way that they can leave. Maybe as long as he's around. Maybe I don't know, but I feel like Sara is, no matter what side we think Sarah's on, it's always going to be a bad side,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad.
Yeah, poor
So,
Sam.
all right. Well, how can people find you on social media? Also, thank you very much for this episode. It was really good, Kinte.
Well,
Where can
yeah,
people find you on social media?
yeah. You can get me at Kente F on Twitter. Kente Ferguson, that's Fergerson on Instagram. And of course, the website is theindyradio.com. That's INDY radio.com. And how can they get you?
People can find me at moviesandmeals.com. And next week's episode, do you know what the title for next week's episode is?
Yes, the next week's episode title is in fact Broken Windows, Open Doors.
Broken windows, open doors. Okay, so we're still not, I guess, done with the idea behind the wards. The clearly that is gonna still play another part. I almost wonder if we will get a small hint about the talisman next week. Kind of think so. I thought so from the title, so I guess we'll see.
Okay. And how we get you?
Moviesandmeals.com. That was me.
Oh, and you never say your Twitter and Instagram.
I don't, because I am just not a social media person. Thank you for asking, but come see me on my website, and that makes me feel that much better.
All right. Well, with that said, we will see you guys next time. Peace.